boards are too much. Honestly, I'm going to put that in I concur. 90% of the time, you won't see anything worthwhile. Get out of the water. Why are you being so negative? I hated scuba diving. Get out of the water. Unpopular scuba diving opinions. Let's get into it. As you guys know, I've been a scuba diving instructor for about 12 years now. I collected a list of about 40 from Reddit, Facebook, comment section, so thank you to everyone who submitted. Let's go over our different categories. We have 1000% agree, I concur, which means, yeah, I agree with this unpopular opinion. Fair enough is I can see your point. No comment, really, don't care either way, and then get out of the water. First, unpopular opinion. Divers are snobs. So I'll put that in fair enough because I've definitely encountered some divers that are kind of, you know, a little bit snobbish about being divers, especially people who have been diving for many years or who have dived in many places around the world. There is a little bit of that superiority complex from certain individuals. I would not say this is a majority. That's why I'm putting it in the middle because I don't think most divers are snobs. Some divers are snobs, but some people are snobs. So let's continue. Cold water diving is better. You know, this is something I really do not agree with, but I understand why you would. So I'm gonna put it in no comment. So personally, I get extremely cold. I'm not a fan of cold water diving. I know you can see some incredible things in cold water. The visibility tends to be a lot better, especially if you do like altitude diving in alpine lakes or something like that. One of my dreams is to dive in Antarctica, but yeah, I would rather be in a tropical climate any day of the week. Liveaboards are too much. Honestly, I'm going to put that in I concur. My first ever two dive courses, so my open water course and my advanced course, were from Pro Dive in Cairns up on the Great Barrier Reef, and I was, I believe, 12 years old and then 16 years old, or 14 and 16 years old. And over the span of 3 days, we did 11 dives. Basically a 5 a.m. dive, 8 a.m. dive, midday dive, afternoon dive, and then a night dive if you were certified to dive at night. And so yeah, over 3 days, 11 dives. It got to be absolutely exhausted. All you were doing was eat, dive, sleep, repeat. A lot of people didn't do all of the dives. Me, as a very excited 14 and 16-year-old, I made sure to do every single dive. I felt guilty to not use all of my parents' money, essentially, because they were kind enough to pay for this incredible trip. My mom was on board, but she's just a snorkeler. I ensured to do every single dive. When I got home, I fell asleep at 4 p.m., didn't wake up till the next day. Now, as an adult, I rather not go on liveaboards, to be honest, and the last liveaboard I did was with Mike Ball, which was absolutely incredible. Highlight of my dive experience ever. Highly recommend you go check them out. You can go as a volunteer as well. That's what I made this whole video about. Didn't do all the dives because I was working, so I was working in the kitchen. So I maybe did 2 to max 3 dives a day, and that was way more my speed. But no free diving after scuba diving is BS. I'm gonna put this in get out of the water. Even if there's only a small chance of getting decompression illness, do not take that chance. Why would you tell people to take that chance? Decompression illness can end in paralysis or even death. So no, we are not playing with things like free diving after scuba diving. Guys, I want you to stay safe out there. Scuba diving can be one of the safest sports in the world if it is done correctly. And if you follow the rules, such as no free diving after scuba diving. Don't care what your thoughts are, just no, don't do it. Don't do it. Do not do it. Also, guys, I just created my very own mask straps. Check them out. How cute are they? There's the plastic is the killer whale, and then a cute little pink Reef Rebellion one. This one is double-sided as well, and then 10% of proceeds goes to reef restoration. And once you're done with them, ship them back, and we will recycle them. Ah, look how cute. All right, next one. You won't get bent if you follow the rules. Again, get out of the water. Bent is like a slang term for decompression illness. This is an unpopular opinion. You won't get bent if you follow the rules, but you can still experience decompression illness even if you follow all the rules. Freak things do still happen, so even if you are following all the rules, accidents happen and your body can have a freak reaction to diving at depth. Because remember, we are underwater breathing compressed air with all these man-made equipment. The pressure between surface level and space is the same difference as surface level to 10 meters underwater. So then when you go to 20 or 30, you're doubling and tripling that pressure on your body. Divers are sexist. I'm going to put this in the fair enough. Look, I created a whole video about the downsides of being a female scuba diver in the industry. I highly recommend you check it out. I speak with Sarah from Azul Unlimited about both of our experiences scuba diving. We have both been diving well over 10 years in the diving industry, but I think this is a bigger issue in the world. And I just wanted to give a shout out. Thank you to all the wonderful people who commented on that video with their experiences. You don't need certs. Again, get out of the water. If you do not want to invest money in getting proper training to go scuba diving, do not scuba dive, please. Dive reports, I've read dive accident reviews. In my series of reacting to like dive accidents, the chances of getting into trouble without the proper training and therefore certification is much, much larger. Most of the people who die from scuba diving are people who did not have the appropriate certification. Now we have something over like 2 million scuba divers every year. And as you guys know, not everyone is a very competent swimmer or like grew up around the ocean or has that self-awareness of how dangerous the ocean can be. I know you guys think it might be a waste of money. I have all my ranking of my favorite dive courses. Music on dive videos is crap. Honestly, I'm the type of person who watches music or like diving videos on mute quite often. Or I do like hearing the ambiance of the ocean. I mean, it's an unpopular opinion. It's a pretty funny one. Okay, next one. Scuba attracts nerds. Again, I'll put it in fair enough. There are definitely some nerds like me in scuba diving. There is a whole range of people in scuba diving though. So I love the variety and diversity of people who are welcomed into the community. Everything from disabilities to all age ranges. So I think it attracts nerds, but it also attracts jocks and whatever other classification you'd like to put. No one wants to watch your cave video. You know, I'm going to put it in I concur. I personally don't like to watch a lot of dive videos, but I think that's more because I suffer from FOMO, and if I see a really cool video, I save it so I can either react to it for you guys, or then it's on my list of where I would like to go scuba diving. I don't really like watching videos of dives I would like to do in the future. I don't want to ruin it for myself. I kind of like to just go and dive. Selling gear to open water students is predatory. Get out of the water. Of course, selling them an entire kit of BCD and regulator, yeah, that can be predatory, but making sure they have a well-fitting mask that is not going to leak during their open water course is a game changer. Unfortunately, a lot of rental gear is poor quality. It's been used a lot. It is, not the highest tier specifically fitted to a student's face. So having them invest in a dive mask changes their whole experience. I have so many people who wouldn't have continued diving if they didn't have their own well-fitting gear to see how comfortable it can be. Even now, I take my friends out on the boat and they have the cheap like Kmart masks or BCF masks, and they're so uncomfortable and they hate it, and they're like, I guess snorkeling's fine. I give them one of my like expensive quality masks that I make sure to fit properly to their face. And they're like, wow, it's amazing. Your gear just will make or break your dive course. So yeah, invest in well-fitting mask. A snorkel, yeah, you can borrow that one. Invest in fins that are gonna be comfortable. If you don't wanna wear a wetsuit that someone else has peed in, buy your own, because all the students pee in wetsuits. Next one, dive shops suck. Again, get out of here. How would we get certifications, diving equipment without dive shops? You want to buy everything online where you can't fit the mask to your face? Scuba damages reefs more than it protects them. This one's hard. Fair enough, or I concur. I'll put it into fair enough because I think scuba diving and getting underwater is such a crucial part of learning about our oceans and learning about what we need to do to protect them. It really gives people a personal relationship with our ocean. And if you know something and love something, you're much more likely to work to protect it. This is what this whole channel is about, is protecting our oceans. Scuba divers shouldn't be in their wetsuits. Look, I'll put it in I concur. For students. Students, please don't pee in your wetsuits because then instructors like me have to wash your wetsuits. Or at least if you're going to pee in your wetsuit, wash it yourself. There's nothing more disgusting than like dumping, wetsuits into a bucket and then just having that hit of pee hit you in the face. But yeah, please don't pee in other people's wetsuits. If you get your own gear and you pee in your own gear and you wash your own gear, that's fantastic. Good for you. All the power to you. I used to pee in my wetsuits a lot. Now, since I free dive, I go out onto the surface much more often, so I just take my bottoms off. That's why I like the two-piece wetsuits. It's much easier to pee in. Crotch zipper is convenient until you try and zip it. I'm gonna put this into no comment because I think a male made this comment. Obviously, a crotch zipper on your wetsuit sounds really great. Unfortunately, I've never been able to have a crotch zipper because, the female peeing organ would not work quite the same way to like, I don't know, pull it out, pee, and then put it back in. Diving is just snorkeling deeper. I'll put this in fair enough. There's a lot of differences where because of your bubbles, certain creatures are more afraid of you, but you're also way more peaceful, so you're not using as much energy. There's also way more equipment. It's more expensive. You need a certification. I think there's a lot of differences. I'm going to be making a video about my opinions of scuba diving versus snorkeling, so stay tuned for that. Or let me know what other videos you'd like me to do. Divers need more training. Look, I concur, but it's more about the quality of training. But it mostly depends on how much time you have and how much the instructor puts into it. So many instructors out there are absolutely fantastic and they make sure that the students coming out of their courses are very competent divers, but there's also places which push through a lot of students, and that's when you deal with certified divers who come on your boat and then they don't know how to set up their own gear. They don't know anything about neutral buoyancy. They hit the coral, they get into trouble, they almost drop their weight belt. Some students should just not get certified. 1000% agree. There was, I think in all my history of teaching diving, I have not certified one student. There were a couple more that I did not want to certify with my name, but my boss at the time took the certification, so he like took the responsibility in case they, weren't that great, because honest, they weren't ready, but anyway, I'll get into that another time. But yeah, that one person came and said they can swim, and they very much couldn't swim, so I told them they can come back once they had taken swimming lessons, because of course a prerequisite for scuba diving is to swim 200 meters unassisted, and this person couldn't. Not going to certify you if you can't swim. PADI should either be banned, disbanded, or disorganized. Look, no comment. I understand there's a lot of negativity towards dive companies, operations, organizations. PADI has given me the life I have, where I've gotten to travel the world and teach diving all over the world. It allowed me to be an ocean advocate. I'm a PADI diving ambassador. I absolutely love so much of what they stand for in terms of conservation. Noisemakers should be against the law. Get out of the water. Noisemakers are so crucial in a lot of training scenarios. I have had an instance where I basically burst my eardrum because my customers were not listening to me, even though I did have a noisemaker. But if I had my loud noisemaker, I feel like they would have definitely heard me and come back up. I had to go descend, grab them, and pull them up because on our descend, they started descending way too fast and I couldn't equalize my ears. So assuming your dive buddy is experienced, I concur. Make sure you find out about your dive buddy's experience. Talk to them before you go diving with them. Pink gears for newbies or infrequent divers. Get out of here. Get out of the water. Minimum dives to become a dive master should be at least 100 logged dives. I mean, fair enough, but don't dive in your bathing suit. 1000% agree. Sun, elements, fire coral, just general safety, rashes, chafing. Just wear some form of rash sheet, please. I concur. Some people are fish bullies, some people are not fish bullies. I don't think the fish is going to have some massive trauma by getting a photo snapped of it, but yeah, there's some areas where, you know, 17 divers, one after another, are going to bother one clownfish. Not ideal. Calling people mermaids. Get out of the water. All I wanted to do to be is a mermaid, so none of that. Putting a mask on my head is not a signal of distress. No comment. I don't think it's a signal of distress, but I don't want any of my students or customers doing it, because the amount of waves I've seen just push a mask off of their head, and then, yeah, then they lose their mask, and then they get upset, and then you need to lend them gear. Just don't do it. Just keep the mask on your face. Okay, if one person uses all their air in 20 minutes, the rest should not have to end the dive. I concur, especially if there's other dive buddies where you can join another dive pair. I don't think it's fair, especially in like a dive guide scenario where everyone's buddied up and you might be buddied up with random people. You don't have to get up at the butt crack of dawn to go diving. Look, no comment, because I do agree with this. But also, the butt crack of dawn is usually the best time for diving. Everything is waking up. It's absolutely amazing. Shark feeding dives are not bad. I'm going to go into no comment again. Or get out of the water. I don't agree with this. I don't think we should be feeding sharks. I don't think we should be altering the natural behaviors of any sea creatures. Any feeding things, not ideal. Sure, it's a great learning experience, but you know what's even cooler? Just seeing a shark in its natural habitat doing its thing rather than coming to you because you have food. Also, this is how we get shark bite incidents like some of my reaction videos. 90% of the time, you won't see anything worthwhile. Get out of the water. Why are you being so negative? Drift diving is not fun. Fair enough. It can be a little bit stressful, especially if you're leading the dive and you have to hold on to the surface marker buoy while you're flying along. I hated scuba diving. Get out of the water. All divers should be vegan. I mean, I want to say I concur because I see the thought behind this. I'm going to put it in fair enough. I'm not vegan anymore. I am plant-based. I eat a plant-based diet for majority of my food, but I do sometimes consume some animal products. Yeah, and I have a whole video about why I started eating fish when I was in Africa. I do think divers should be more in touch with the environment and our personal impacts on it, whether we're eco-conscious divers by not hitting coral, or decreasing our carbon footprint by choosing to walk or use our bikes, or by decreasing our carbon footprint by not eating extremely, large amounts of seafood that's been imported, or, dairy and meat, which requires a lot of resources. Be more conscious about our impacts on our oceans. Your BCD doesn't matter. I 1000% agree. This is actually my unpopular opinion. I don't know. Is that just me? Maybe it's just me. Vest styles are for cold water. No comment. I like them in tropical water. Like them in cold water. So this is my unpopular opinions ranking list. Let me know what opinion do you 100% agree with, or what is your unpopular opinion? Let me know.